Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe so you do not miss the next time I do post. For today's video, I want to talk about my full schedule now for fall semester and also what my work schedule will look like and how I'm planning to manage and balance both work and school, because I know this is a big question a lot of people get as to, like, should I work during the accelerated program or should I just work while I'm in school in general? And I think that's such a great question, and I want to answer how I've done it in the past and how I plan to do it now. So we're gonna start this off with talking about my schedule. I will say my schedule is like changing throughout the semester because of my clinicals. So one of my clinicals does not start till October. So up until then, I don't have anything on Mondays pertaining to school. So as of right now, my schedule for Mondays is going to be the fact that I will be working probably 3:30 to 6 p.m. because that is the time I worked during the last school year with the child I work with. I'm assuming that's probably going to be the schedule again this year. If that changes, then it changes, but it'll probably be around that same time frame, the 3:30 to 6 p.m. I also have on my schedule that at some point in the day, probably around 9 to 11, I want to be looking at the materials for my evidence-based practice class. That's the class I just called my research class, on Mondays, because that class is completely online, is asynchronous. That means we do it at our own pace. The professor opens up the modules on a certain day of the week. I believe she said she'll be opening them up on Wednesdays, and we have until the following Wednesday to complete the work within that modules. I'm planning to look at it on Mondays for myself. I want to just put it as a set thing in my schedule, because if I don't, I probably will forget that I have it to do and don't get the work done. So for me, it's going to be Mondays in the morning, and then in the afternoon, early evening, I will be working on Mondays up until when I start my clinicals. Tuesdays now is a lecture day. It is my most packed day because I have recitation in the morning, and then I have Patho Farm, and then after Patho Farm, I have mental health, so psychiatric mental health on Tuesdays, and I believe I get out around, let's see, on Tuesdays until 4:25. I will be in the city, so I'll come home and probably just eat, get some work done. That's it for Tuesdays. Wednesdays now, I only have 2 classes. One is in person and one is online. So I start the same time both days, 7:55. So I have fundamentals on Wednesday, and then I have my communications class, which is online. So it's synchronous. So that means we're online the same time the professor is online. So it's a Zoom call, but I can do it anywhere. I can come home between my fundamentals class and my communications class. If I don't have anything to do on campus, I probably will be coming home and just watching my lectures from home. So that will be pretty nice. Like, Wednesday is not a bad day because only 2 classes, and potentially for one of those classes, I will get to be in the comfort of my home. So yay for me. Thursdays now, I have nothing on Thursdays, which I'm actually surprised because I thought Thursday was going to be my clinicals, but since I have it on Monday, Thursday for the entire semester, I have nothing unless something pops up that they want us to do on Thursdays. I don't have anything on Thursdays, so I'm planning to work also on Thursdays with my kid, Kyle. That again, it'll probably be like 3:30 to 6 p.m. I don't know my set time yet. I've spoken to my supervisor about, like, the fact that I will be able to work the Thursdays and Mondays, and she told me it'll probably be the same time that I was working in the past. Thursdays will be a day where I'm doing a lot of studying, doing a lot of my assignments, and just making sure I'm staying on top of everything. Fridays, I have either sim lab or clinicals for my fundamental. So when I have sim labs, those are from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And then when I have clinicals will be from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. So pretty much around the same time. There's just an hour difference between the start and the end time for those. I do like the fact that my clinicals are short. They're not 12-hour clinicals. Like, I know a lot of people who have had to do 12-hour clinicals. I am grateful for the fact that I don't have to do that. Yay for me. And then Saturday and Sunday, I work my weekend job, which is from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., which I do like the fact that it's during the morning, and then in the afternoon I'm able to study and get like my schoolwork done, or whatever like things I need to do, like if I have chores, like, you know, things I need to do around my house, some tidying up or whatever, running errands. I can do that Saturday and Sunday evening. I can also do those on Monday and Thursday. That's pretty much my schedule up until like mid to late October, when I start my clinicals. So my clinicals for mental health in October, and those will be on Monday from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. So when I switch to that, I will no longer work on Mondays. I'll only be working Thursdays and then my weekend job. And like I said, those clinicals are also 7 to 3:30, which is fine. Again, it's not 12 hours. And then I also would have to change the time I look at my evidence-based practice class. Will be in the evening on Mondays instead of in the morning, since I will have my clinicals in the morning. But I don't want to change the date, because I still want to keep it on Mondays and not switch to Thursdays, like where I have all my free time, because I just want to be like a little bit consistent. We're just switching the time that I would do it on Mondays. You know, a lot of people ask, like, how are you able to work and be in school? The way I think is best is determined based off of how many courses you're taking. If you're a full-time student, like I'm considered full-time because I'm taking 5 classes, I wouldn't recommend having a full-time job. If you can do it, by all means, go ahead. Also, if the hours are able to work with your schedule, then definitely go ahead. I personally would not do a full-time job as a full-time student. I would do a part-time job like I'm planning to do. I have 2 part-time jobs, one during the week and one on the weekends. And the one during the week is like literally like barely any hours. At most, I would work like 5 hours. So I still have a lot of time to dedicate to my studies, to dedicate to my schoolwork. And if you know you're someone who needs to spend a lot of time getting your work done, you need to make sure that is your number one priority. I understand that we have bills to pay, we need to make money, because I have bills to pay and I need to pay money, which is why I'm still working will be able to still work my 2 jobs. I'm just doing less hours for one of my jobs than the other. My weekend job, I'm able to keep my regular hours because they don't really conflict too much. And if needs be, I would do per diem for my weekend job, where I only need to do like 16 hours for the month, instead of like where currently I'm doing 16 hours for the weekend. So I'm doing 16, that is 32. So I'm doing around 60, I'm doing 64 hours for the month. So that'll be significantly less, but I'll be able to pick up shifts as needed. You just need to do a minimum of 16 hours in a month in order to keep your per diem status. I think I'll be able to still work my regular weekend job in the week and still be able to get all my work done. It's just coming down to time management, making sure I am keeping ahead of my assignments. I'm actually already starting on my assignments, even though classes have not officially started yet, because I bought the textbook and it's available, and my professor told us, like, you have as many tries to do this assignment and we take your highest score. So since it's like an assignment where I can try multiple times, why would I not just go ahead and get started and kind of learn the material ahead of time and just go into class being a little bit more knowledgeable about the topic? It makes sense. So that's what I'm doing. Like I said, I've also done this in the past. I worked all of my undergraduate and for my master's degree, I worked through both of those words. I worked through both of my previous degrees. I was a part-time employee on my college campus for my undergraduate, and that's why I say part-time is better, because you are able to make some money. If you're someone where like part-time isn't really going to cut it to pay your bills, maybe go to school part-time. Like it's going to extend the time that you're in school, but that might be your best bet, because you don't want your grades really to suffer. And personally, I'm not comfortable with just getting C's, because people like, C's get degrees, but that's not my mindset when it comes to school. I like to get the best grade. I want all A's. I want a 4.0, right? So, but if you're fine with that mindset and that's what you're able to do, go for it. But I do think maybe cutting back on hours where you can, There might be some weeks where it's easier, so you're able to work more. Other weeks where you might have to work less. So maybe doing something that's per diem or part-time like I'm doing, where you're able to, even though you have your set shifts, you're able to pick up shifts when you can, because that's how my jobs, both of them, work. Is like when I can and have the availability to work more hours, I'm afforded that. I can pick up extra hours as I can, you know, as it fits into my schedule. So I think that's the biggest thing when you are in school and you want to work, is having a job that is willing to work with your schedule and that is very flexible in terms of how many hours you need to work regularly and on a set basis. So that's how I think you should go about it. I will never tell someone to not work unless you can. If you can afford to not work while you're in school, 100% don't work. Like, if I could afford to take my classes and not work at all and completely dedicate all my energy on school, I will gladly do that. But for me, I have bills. Nobody pays my bills but me. Nobody pays my bills but myself. So I have to work while I'm in school. Like, there's no other choice that I have. But I found jobs that allow me to be able to still dedicate a lot of time to my schoolwork and not be like very overwhelming. For both of my jobs, once I leave, that's it. I can't really do work while I'm home for either one of them. So that's also the thing. If you're working a job where you have to take things home and do it off the clock, I don't recommend that while you're in school, because once you leave your job, you want to go home and focus on your schoolwork, on what you need to do, not on your work at the same time, because it's going to be very hard when you have to dedicate time off the clock to your job when instead of focusing on your schoolwork. So I think that's another like category or criteria that when you're looking at jobs or thinking whether you should work while you're in school, you should think about that. Is this a job that once I clock out, that's it? I can't do anything at home for it. If you are at home and you're still doing work for that job and you're not really dedicating time to your books, that's not the best job for you or for you at this moment in time. So that's how I look at it. I also do like to plan and schedule in the times I do study. I haven't done that yet just because I still am waiting for my other 3 classes to show us the syllabus so I can put in all my assignments. Another thing that helps me stay on top of everything between juggling school and work is having an assignment tracker. So I created an Excel sheet with all of my assignments and exam dates, when they are and when the assignments are due, because I can just quickly go in, look for what assignments I know is coming up and see if I've done it or not, and like decide, okay, so I'm going to study today, I'm going to get work done today. What assignments do I need to do? What assignments are due in like the next day, the next week, that I can like bang out right now and just get off my plate? So that's something. If you want to see my assignment tracker, please let me know down below. I can show you guys, I can walk you through how I did it. I actually followed this girl, someone else's instructions on TikTok. She had explained how she did, and I did it the same way. Pretty much for the most part. I changed like a couple of things here and there, but it was like very easy and straightforward. I like having things like that because it really just gives me like a very visual view of like all the things I need to get done. Because sometimes with a planner, like you having to look all these places, like I like to have everything in one place where I can quickly see like, okay, these are due on this date, or these are due within this week, so what can we do now and plan for my week. But I am planning to set aside time in my schedule for when I'll be able to like hang out with friends still, and also when to sit down and study and get these assignments done. So I love having planners, and I imported my Google Calendar onto my phone, onto my iPad, so I literally, any device I'm on, I'm able to view my calendar to see these things as well. So if you guys want to see how I do that or a walkthrough, please let me know and I can always do it, create a video on it. So that's it. I hope this video was helpful. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Any questions, just drop them down below. As always, I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.